Welcome back to round 4 of Eternal Weekend North America Legacy Championships. My name is Julian Knapp. I'm here with Kaiser Vatari, and we're about ready to jump into yet another awesome match of Legacy. We got a lot of prizes lined up. We got some of the most amazing things you can really only get at Eternal Weekend. So for this one, we do have Lightning Bolt as a painting for the first player. It's unique. It's a one of a kind. You can put it on your wall and be the only person to own this. Other than that, you get the top 8, the Game Chanic bundle. You also get $4,000 of cash. Same for second place, but second place missing out on that Lightning Bolt. But for everybody else in top 8, you get that awesome Dragon Rage Channeler card. There's only 24 of those in the world. These are the last 8 up for grabs. So if you want to get your hands on that, you better be in this event and doing really well. Kai, what else do we got? Like, who's bringing us this event? Who's making all of this possible?
Yeah, this event is powered by Card Titan. Thank you so much. Use the code Eternal Weekend 2023 for 10% off of your order. And also Game Chanic, same code Eternal Weekend 2023 for 10% off your order. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we have a crazy match for this round. Oh my goodness, dude. This is like the most... We have so much fire in the booth now. It's awesome. You have Ethan Formicella on Doomsday versus Justin Gennari on Boros Painter. Now, those players are absolute like peak Magic players. Justin Gennari, aka I'm actually level 1, is a vintage streamer, and Ethan Formicella is a Magic online grinder who plays a lot of Doomsday, and he brought his signature deck today to this table, and they're both undefeated. Let's go!
Yeah, this is basically you versus me, right? I gave this 74 out of 75 decklists to Justin Gennari. The only difference change he made is he cut a Fury for a Chaos Defiler, definitely a fan favorite of everybody playing Painter in paper. And I think traditionally this matchup rather favors Painter, and I'm super excited to see Justin in action, right? I've given him decklists, I think like 3 events running, and he top 8'd one of them. Actually, that was Callum Smith who gave him the decklist for the first one. For the second one, he went 8-2. That was the Eternal Weekend in Europe where we saw each other. I think he skipped out on the Asian one, and now he's here, sitting at 3-0, trying to make his way all the way into top 8 this time and win one of those tournaments.
Yeah, look at this. This is like a turn 1 Underground Sea into Personal Tutor for the namesake card Doomsday. So you put that card on top, and I think this is also like currently like the only deck in Legacy that plays this crazy tutor card, like Personal Tutor, a really old card from Portal. I think it got like a reprint like the other day. But yeah, it can grab a sorcery card and put it on top of your library, and then
I would think both players here know what each other is playing. So Ethan feels especially safe to just like run this out, knowing that Justin's not going to counter. Unless, you know, there's always this like once in a blue moon play where you go turn 1 Grindstone activate, where you literally have 4 mana and you undo the Personal Tutor. But yeah, I think Ethan is willing to play against those odds. Goblin Welder coming down, another awesome card. Doesn't really do too much in this matchup, but certainly going to enable some broken plays, maybe some related down the line. As Ethan probably sets up for a Doomsday here, right? I guess.
Exactly.
I would feel very confident just going for the Doomsday here.
I see like a secret, like there's like a secret layer, Thassa's Oracle, Thoughtseize, Days, Personal Tutor. The problem though, no land. There is no land, and there's a 3 I think Ethan just Brainstorm locked himself here. Oh my goodness.
Oh, you think he's just like gonna pass the turn for at least? I guess you could undo it with a Personal Tutor. You know, is he gonna Personal Tutor for a Dark Ritual here? Is he that
yeah,
I think you got basically everything you need. You even got the dude. Sorry to interrupt you there. I'm getting so excited about all of this because this matchup, blink and you missed it. This is super dynamic, especially in the first game, as both players know what they're supposed to do here.
Yeah, I mean for that we need to print Sorcery Speed Dark Ritual first, but
oh yeah, true. See, getting a little.
But
bit
I guess
Lorien
revealed is kind of the Sorcery Speed Dark Ritual of sorts. You can get a land. You could also grab something like a Ponder, for example, to go look for another land or so, but damn.
You're talking to the guy, by the way, who still to this day tries to merchant scroll for Tinker, even though people have told him like for 20 years by now that you can't do that.
Oh yeah. This is kind of like a bummer for Ethan here. I think like in my Doomsday career, I have not done this particular play, like playing a Personal Tutor off a Lotus Petal to go grab a Lorien Reveal. This is really
it certainly
specific.
hurts a lot, right?
It does. It certainly does. Yeah. And while
Somewhat
Justin is
unfortunate for Justin here, he doesn't really have an artifact to activate the Goblin Welder right away. On the other hand, there's not really, I was gonna say, there's not really anything he wants to get in the first game other than Grindstone. So we've both been in this situation, often even against each other, right? Where you cast Doomsday while the other guy has a Grindstone, and you try to set it up in a way where you like next level, but don't double next level your opponent. Because if you double next level your opponent, then you next level yourself again. To put this into like the least professional terms I can ever come up with for this, but it's such a tricky situation, and I think a lot of times there's no correct thing to deduce from the way the game has played out. Whether you wanna activate Grindstone right away and then you look stupid because they just like slam Oracle from the top, or you wait and they maneuver themselves into a position where they actually lose their Oracle. It's tricky.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. Like Grindstone causes a lot of headaches.
And that's what we're all here for.
A pile, right? Yeah.
Nothing else going on Justin's side. Well, actually, as I say that, the Swords to Plowshares sometimes does something in this matchup, especially once you have Grindstone down, because you might force Ethan into a play where he needs to like play an early Oracle. It's tricky. We'll get to it as it happens. As you see, we even have trouble figuring this out. Meanwhile, Justin is like ticking up his Urza Saga, gonna try to make a couple of constructs, put Ethan under a lot of pressure. And the ideal scenario you wanna set up is you have 2 constructs that are big enough to close out the game post Doomsday, so you can force Ethan into trying to come up with a non-pass the turn pile, which we talked about this in the previous round, right? It's a super hard thing to set up on low mana.
Yeah, that's a fair thing. Like you don't need to necessarily go find Painter Grindstone. Sometimes like the Grindstone alone does it, or sometimes like just beatdowns, right? Like we saw it in the previous round, like Eli Cassis versus Mark Tobias. Like the first game, he just took it down with like a couple of constructs and I think like a Grief or something like that. And again, like Doomsday, as powerful as it is vulnerable to damage. Be it lightning bolts, be it creature combat.
Okay, now going back into like I'm trying to figure this out here. If Ethan really has to pass the turn on a Doomsday, then Justin, if he wants to, can get a Grindstone, but he can't activate it right away. So he only really gets 1 activation out of it, right? Am I seeing this correctly?
Yeah, I think so. So like the timing is really important.
I think there might be a way to get a second activation out of it by sacrificing it to Engineer and then bringing it back with Welder, assuming you have enough mana. And you're going to use one of those, whatever you get of the Saga.
Man, look at that. Like Ethan's brainstorms are not very kind. Like this is, this like the second time he has to use like a Ponder this time to probably shuffle his library here. That's rough. Like time is clicking. Like yeah. Ethan is probably looking for like Ethan's probably looking for like a Dark Ritual and probably like a way to draw into the pile so that he doesn't have to pass. But Justin is also playing like this deck with like a million Red Blasts in the main deck already.
So basically, from what I understand, the level 0 plays, you put your Oracle on the very top with a Cycler in hand. So in response to the Grindstone, you can always like rescue your Oracle. But Justin, also known as I am actually level 1, is gonna outdo the level 0 player, I guess, and gonna have another potential activation of a Grindstone. But it really, really depends on how he sets it up here. He's gonna get this one back for the Oracle. Yeah, construct comes in, goes back to the booth.
Yeah, this is really interesting, right? Like, because Justin is familiar to the vintage Doomsday deck, which is really powerful. It has like Black Lotus, Gosh, Ancestral Recall, all these super powerful draw spells and mana producing artifacts. And Legacy doesn't have the same tools, right? Like Legacy Doomsday deck have to rely on Lion's Eye Diamond, Lotus Petals, maybe Ideas Unbound, Predict, Consider, Street Crave.
It's so funny, right? When you see vintage Doomsday, you feel like, oh my god, you guys in Legacy have to do all this work and you just get this for free? Oh, okay. You see where this is going. We drew the painter. We have enough mana to activate it right away. Yeah, Ethan sees the writing of the wall. He's gonna get milled. He's doing. Justin is overdoing what Ethan wants to do. Get rid of Ethan's library, but just a little too much. Yeah. The beauty of A plus B combos, you know, sometimes you rip from the top and you get there. As we were trying to figure out how to get a second grindstone activation out of all of this, Justin is showing us, you know, I put this A plus B combo in there for a reason, and goes to game 2. So Kai, help me out here. What do we actually do from Doomsday's side to make this matchup better?
Yeah, so Ethan's sideboard has 1 defense grid, a Night's Whisper, 2 duress, 2 Flusterstorms, 2 subtleties, 3 Leyline of Sanctity, and 4 copies of Force Negation. It's tough. I can't give you a proper answer. Like it's probably like you want duress because they are red blast. You probably also want Force Negations because you can potentially counter like something like a Blood Moon, maybe Thorn of Amethyst, Grindstone itself. Subtlety can take care of like Magus of the Moon or the Painter or any of the goblins, but like none of those things are particularly exciting, right? Like you might draw your Force Negation while your opponent has the Magus of the Moon, for example, and then it doesn't work. So I would imagine that Ethan doesn't sideboard a lot of cards in this matchup, and rather tries to be as streamlined as possible.
So something Doomsday players online have been doing against me recently, and that is to bring in Leyline of Sanctity so they don't have to worry about the combo or any kind of disruption via Grindstone. Is that, like, how advisable is that really?
Oh, now that you mention it, I might like that, yeah. I've never played with Leyline of Sanctity because I'm personally not a big fan of Leylines myself, but that is definitely it can save you a lot of like headaches. Like you got hexproof. Bad. I might like that, yeah.
Yeah, we will see whether Ethan's gonna go for that. I mean, I'm trying to figure out which other decks in the format. I mean, of course, a lot of combo decks that do that. Maybe a Reanimator. I'm not too sure about that one. But yeah, cool. So from Justin's side, he's certainly gonna bring in the 4 Magus of the Moon. That's by far the best sideboard card that Painter has against Doomsday. Like, Doomsday already has to jump through so many hoops to make things work against Painter. And a lot of times, this is one of the most common win scenarios that I've experienced from Painter's side, is they cast Doomsday, you untap, you cast Magus, and they concede. Because they literally didn't put enough blue sources into the pile. So we'll see how that goes.
Look at those opening hands.
The Trinity Sphere is maybe gonna help. It's not the greatest one in the matchup. It's so funny, like Justin and I, and Callum Smith, we have like a group where we talk about the deck. And right before the event, we were talking about like how basically the combo hate of 3 Mindbag Trap, 1 Trinity Sphere doesn't really line up all that well against Doomsday. And we were literally talking about this specific matchup and how we wanted to change things up. It looks like Justin decided to keep it that way. And now he's gonna try to find a way as Ethan gets down the Leyline of Sanctity we talked about earlier. It's actually kind of cool to see how that's gonna play out, because you already told me, right? You haven't really explored the scenario all that much.
Yeah, really curious how this is gonna shape up. Also, we saw a subtlety in Ethan's opening hand as well. So interesting.
What do you think the subtlety is for?
Probably the Magus. Probably Magus, and also Painter Servant is what I think.
Yeah. Something that's also, well, I can't really call it new in Painter, right? We've a lot of us have recently been pushing the Boros version of Painter, where you not only play Swords to Plowshares, but also 2 copies of 4th Erlingas. And as we talk about headaches for Doomsdays, yeah, here's another one. You want to pass the turn, you think it's safe, yeah, all of a sudden, you know, Painter, we have these hasty little night creatures. I don't even know what the second creature type is. Do you know? Is it straight up Human Knight? Human Knight, I guess?
It's Human Knight, I think, yeah.
And that makes it all that much harder, right? You're Doomsday, you're sitting, let's say, on 8 life. Painter has just like 4 power in play. You think like nothing can happen.
Oh gosh,
and then the game closes. I want to say that's actually the second most win scenario, other than like comboing out, as we saw in the first game.
I've lost to this card like so many times already. Oh my goodness.
It's great. It's a great one. 4th Erlingas. I can't believe I initially thought Erlingas was the horse. But here we go. Okay.
Like
Justin's Painter. Justin has a lot of mana on the first turn.
Yeah, it looks almost like a vintage start.
Oh yeah. You know, with this kind of hand, you could have almost gone for like a 4th Erlingas in the first turn.
The Grindstone probably only there to activate the Mox Opal. Represent Pyroblast, maybe. It's not
Yeah.
bad.
Also, like
yeah.
later on in the game, you could actually like try to take out the ley line with a blast and then go for the combo yourself. That's certainly another way to victory if you get your painter. Oh, let's see. By the way, what's your favorite plateau art?
Oh my goodness. I think the one we are seeing right now by Drew
Mhm.
Tucker. I'm not even entirely sure, but
Yeah.
I think
For me,
maybe they're
that
like
means this one.
both. It might be this or the other one. Like one of them is like by Drew Tucker.
Yeah.
It's
The thing
kind of
is,
hard
like,
to
I
see.
usually like the first printing of almost everything except for like Brainstorm. But I
Oh,
don't know.
agree. 100%
The
agree.
alpha beta art, it's not doing it that much for me. Like I really like this one quite a lot more. It feels plateauish. I don't know if that's a thing. Okay, what do we get here? Are we gonna get Doomsday
Okay.
of that personal tutor?
I think so. Unless there are not many other options. Like this is not vintage Doomsday, right? Like if you cast Demonic Tutor or let's say like Vampiric Tutor in vintage in Doomsday, you can get all sorts of things. But the personal tutor has such a big restriction that you can only get like a Doomsday or like a Ponder. Edge of Autumn is interesting because it's a sorcery, but it's a free cycler.
Yeah, dude, personal tutor for Edge of Autumn doesn't really feel great, does it?
Yeah, it's.
I've recently been to a tournament where a player had to enlighten tutor for Lotus Petal, and I felt like, ooh, oh, that's a rough one.
Quite expensive.
Oh, and here we go. Win condition number 1. Subtleties. Gonna try to stop that. And honestly, it's setting Justin back quite a bit. Like, his mana base has been devastated to try to grasp 3 mana and try to get the Magus down. But not happening.
So we shall see. Justin can decide if the Magus goes on top of his library or on the bottom.
I'd love to see Justin's hand right now. Because apparently he really got a real decision to make there. He might have some mana.
Okay, so you put it back on top, which is kind of telling.
Yeah. I wonder if he has like the land to make it work next turn, because if he didn't, then also the Saga would be kind of awkward. Maybe he doesn't feel great about playing the Saga here, but he feels he has to. This is tricky. So if he had any other kind of land, right, he would have played that instead of the Saga, unless he has 2 Sagas.
Okay.
And we go for the Doomsday. Okay.
And here's the Doomsday. Now, this is gonna get a little interesting. I guess you have a little bit of security here with the Leyline of Sanctity. Like you don't have to fear the grindstone activation. The cards you have to worry about is like Red Blasts are still a thing. And maybe like a potential like Pithy Needle on some cycler. That could be something. I don't think that Justin.
How do you beat Magus here? Because I think since Justin put it back on top and played a land, there's a very real chance that it's gonna come back. And I think Ethan also kind of demonstrated that he probably doesn't have Daze, because there's a good chance he would have dazed this instead of Subtleties.
That's a good point. But like if he dazed, then he could not have played the Doomsday this turn, right? Because he had to take back one of his Underground Seas. And do not have like black mana for the sorcery here. But it's gonna be a close call. You can beat Magus of the Moon if you add like a basic island to the mix, or like a Lotus Petal, maybe multiple Lotus Petals.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
you're playing like a really slow game, right? Where you just like draw your mana sources and eventually you still get the Oracle down. Then you still struggle against the Blast, right? That might or might not be there. Painter has like gradually cut down on Blast. Like there was a time where we run like 8, then 7 + 1 in the sideboard, then 6, then like, and now we're back down to 5 in the main deck, as Justin is playing here today.
Totally. I also want to like a big shout out to Ethan for making a file like this quick. This has been like such a big topic in the Legacy or like the Doomsday community of like how quickly can you make a pile, or how much time do you give yourself in a tournament like this to come up with the perfect 5 cards? Because finding 5 cards, perfect 5 cards in a specific game is not always that easy.
Oh, did you just like see like on Ethan's side of the dude? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, never mind. For a second, Ethan looked like he was kind of devastated by Justin having the Ancient Tomb, as if like Ethan was maybe holding a Daze. But now I think the Magus might be exposed to Daze again. I'm not sure. He's cycling.
Okay.
Dude, if he has a daze on top. Dude, if he has a
Avatar.
daze on top, that's just... Oh, this daze! Oh my god. Oh my god. This, like, you literally, like, the entire game could be told in this single turn where, like, Justin plays the Ancient Tomb. Ethan, like, slumps down in his chair. He's like, dude, it's not gonna work. Then
Beautiful.
Justin actually does make the construct. And Ethan's like, wait a minute.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, this is so good. This is so good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Does Ethan have to kill now?
That was 100% planned. That was 100% planned. And now Ethan could technically go for it. Justin has 0 mana available. So don't have to worry about like a Power Blast. Maybe Power Blast plus Sleeping Spirit Guide.
Yeah. I really wonder whether Justin actually noticed that slump when he played that Ancient Tomb. Because it was like so noticeable to me, but I'm also like seeing both players at the same time, of course. And also, it doesn't mean that you need to actually take a read from that because you might be misled by the opponent's like body language. It's just like, as a caster, this is the perfect story. You feel like this is so great. Even though I feel like sorry for my poor painter deck, maybe not winning this game, but we will see. We will see.
All right, here's the Edge of Autumn. We turn this LED into a Black Lotus here for triple blue mana, I would assume. Edge of Autumn is such a niche card too. Like you don't ever see this card in almost any other deck. And you draw the last card of your deck, which is
that is a Thassa's Oracle.
This is a secret layer Thassa's Oracle, yeah.
Okay.
I also got a bunch at home, waiting for that first appearance.
Oh, look at this! Look at this. Justin's just like looking at the board. I think he maybe had a different line. I don't know. Looked like he figured something out. But dude, we're gonna be graced with a third game. I just love Doomsday against Painter. I mean, sometimes it can be over pretty quickly. Dude, look at Justin. Like, I think he's thinking about that line that we talked about, right? The stare into the air just before you shuffle up the cards and then back into tournament mode. Okay, let me grab my sideboard. I have some other plan going on here. I think there's not too much of a difference between on the play and on the draw for Painter at least. But maybe he's got some idea.
So what do you think, Julian? Like who's gonna be your favorite in
I think
game number 3?
I'm gonna take the cheap route that you took early on, and I'm gonna say the guy on the play, which is gonna be Justin on Boros.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, that's being on the play in a matchup like this is extremely
oh, interesting. Check this out. Oh, this is oh my god, there's so many lines you can take here. The only thing that's missing is red mana, so okay, so what you can do here is you go turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Painter, turn 3 Kill. We call it the 1-2-3. It's very creatively named. I might have just coined the term on the spot. But there's a Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah, Ethan again has the Leyline. So we can already say that the Leyline did quite a lot of work last game, right? Because there was the Grindstone, it never got activated. Man, like if Ethan wins this game again because of Leyline, I'm probably gonna go out and buy some copies later.
Interesting, by the way, from the Painter side, how you sideboard. Usually you take out your Furies and Chaos Defilers and that kind of stuff. I think Justin might have brought back the Chaos Defiler. Maybe that's why he was reaching for the sideboard. Oh,
you can destroy like a Leyline, right?
Yeah, and almost anything. And you don't even destroy, but yeah. that doesn't really matter too much in the matchup, I guess. Except for Veil of Summer, which is another tricky card. Ethan does what he's supposed to do, and he goes for Personal Tutor for Doomsday, probably setting up for a turn to Doomsday, as Justin, unfortunately for him, really only has the beatdown route available. I would guess there's going to be a City of Traitors, which very firmly commits him to that. So here's the thing. He can still make 2 constructs, and he has Magos of the Moon. So he can still make Magos of the Moon on the next turn. And there's a world where this is still enough, but Ethan probably has Magos of the Moon like on his mind. And he's I don't think he's gonna if he's got time, I don't think he's gonna make a pile that can't beat Magos. But we will see.
Yeah, look at this. So while he's doing that, like Ethan got Dark Ritual Doomsday, a pair of Force of Will, I believe a Daze, and a Polluted Delta. And this is maybe like again like the strength of Doomsday, right? Like you don't have to necessarily win on the same turn. In fact, like Ethan would probably go for like something more like control-ish, slower maybe, just making sure that he doesn't lose to any nonsense. You could also play around the Mindbreak Trap. Justin has a Mindbreak Trap in hand. Ethan doesn't know that, but
I think you don't play around Mindbreak Trap, right? I like asking you as a Doomsday player. Do you like actively play around Mindbreak Trap here? Like, do you really like put a lot of like respect to it?
I think only if I'm super far ahead and
okay,
my
okay,
goodness.
Let's get somebody else in here. Apparently you do.
Oh,
you do not.
my goodness.
Okay. Well, the personal tutor certainly wouldn't have done anything post Doomsday, so Justin probably like felt pretty good about this one, but Ethan got these cards lined up really well for him, and I think he probably is gonna make a pile. So okay, from Justin's side, what do you want to do here? You definitely want to cast Magus of the Moon next turn, and hope that Ethan just can't beat that one.
That's your number one goal, right? Like, look at Ethan's land. There are 2 underground seas. Ethan also doesn't have infinite time, right? Because Saga constructs, even if they're mid-size, can be deadly here. Like, Ethan drops to 8 life. Can maybe make a pile where he passes turn like maybe like once, max twice. But he definitely has to respect those Ursa Sagas. Has to respect Magus of the Moon. Has to respect Red Blasts.
I'm trying to see whether there's just like any 4th Erlingas line, but the mana is not really working out here. Even if he had the correct mana, I think he would be 2 damage short, which at least would cut off Street Wraith, but we will see. I think there is a scenario, right, where you make a construct end of turn here, then you make the Magus next turn, and that like makes things complicated enough for Ethan that he has to pass like often enough for the construct and the Magus to get there. I think you always think about like what's my line to victory? When you're behind, how do I win this game? When you're ahead, how do I lose this game? And I think Justin is trying to figure out whether there's any other line, because that's the apparent one, right? Make a construct, make a Magus, try to get there.
Totally. So I think like now we see like an Edge of Autumn Brainstorm, Lion's Eye Diamond.
I'm gonna trust you on figuring out what the pile does.
Yeah, like these are the cards I saw, and I can. Okay, ooh, wow! Like last minute, abandoned the Lion's Eye Diamond. Interesting. Like Ethan knows that Justin gets access to red mana next turn because of that Ursa Saga.
Yeah. Right? It's kind of tragic for Justin because you clearly keep that hand because of the combo potential, because you got the kill on turn 3, and then you also have the Magus. And I guess if you want to go into that, there's also the Mindbreak Trap, but that doesn't really factor into it. Like you get the turn 1, turn 2, potentially even turn 3 kill, depending on how it goes. Like it's a decent hand. It's just that the ley line really screws you up. It basically puts your entire plan onto the Magus on turn 3 instead of the kill on turn 3. It was kind of cool that you connected with the Mindbreak Trap because it took away a Force of Will that might have otherwise hit the Magus. So there's that. But I think there's probably just gonna be
all right.
Oh, he's looking at the extra right now.
Also, Justin just confirmed that there are no basic lands in Ethan's pile. Both our Swamp and Island are in the exile zone. That's valuable information right
so
there.
The next thing you count is the Lotus Petals, right? And I guess there's an LED line with Cyclers that also works.
But that's gone too.
Yeah, now Justin has to make the really tough call. He might have actually drawn something.
Yeah, this might be like the most most important decision in this whole match here for Justin.
Also, I wonder if he's drawn like a Blast, because ideally you want to go to a situation where you have Blast and Magus, because of course that turns off Cavern of Souls. Dude, I'm already feeling the tension of the decision, and Justin decides to make another construct. Wow, that's a really tough decision to make, but I think he might get a needle and then try to get another turn. Because there's a good chance that if you needle here, that you kill Ethan on the next turn, if you just needle the right thing.
Oh, dude, no. I'm just so happy that we are sitting here like with almost full information on both players.
Well, dude, I'm sitting here with nearly full information, and I'm still struggling to make the correct
call. Like this kind of showcase like how difficult and challenging this matchup is on both sides, I think. Okay, how about a second Saga? Chip off a 4/3. That's basically lethal next turn.
Okay, so that's basically telegraphing I got Pyroblast. and I can pay for your days. Are you willing to risk it on that? Because Ethan cannot pass the turn here. Oh, is it Brainstorm? Oh, that could be a Pyroblast. Oh, this is so tempting to Pyroblast, right? And he goes for it. And is that the game? Oh, he passes. Kai, what is there?
Ooh, but check this out. Like, the constructs are 2/2s, so this is not lethal.
Ooh, and now Justin needs to draw like any kind of artifact, and like his body language is not saying I drew an artifact.
Oh no! Oh my goodness! And Ethan drops to 1 life here.
And he's literally just gonna slam
this
Oracle now, right?
This is unbelievable.
Oh, Justin sees the writing on the wall. He knows what's about to happen.
Blue.
Oracle.
And it's a Thassa's Oracle, and it's 2 cards in hand.
Oh, yes, Mindbreak Trap in hand. It doesn't do anything. Dude, we talked about how Mindbreak Trap, like, we wanted to exchange it for something else specifically that's better against Doomsday. Looks like he ended up not doing it. And here, oh, it's so tough. I think he's gonna extend the hand.
This is unbelievable. Ethan 4v on 1 life takes down this match and advances to 4-0, I believe. Congratulations. Congratulations, my dude. Oh man, that was a delight watching some prime Doomsday content here live on camera. Oh my goodness.
This is some awesome legacy. This is what I call medium rare legacy. This is the best kind of legacy you can watch. It's so deep. It's like so many decisions on so many levels. I would have loved to see how it had played out with the Makers of the Moon. I think Ethan must have had a plan against that one as well. But now we're going over to a backup feature match. We got Matthew Falchetti on Timur Delva against Kyle Taylor on Aluren. Okay, here we go, dudes. Aluren, mainstay on the format for basically ever since it existed. Not one of the most played decks. There's also just like so many different ways to build it. But Kyle apparently has been making it work here. He's currently sitting at 2-1 and 2-0-1. And Kai, I think we can have a rather shortcut Aluren, right? Aluren is a 4-mana enchantment that allows both players to play creatures for 3 and less for free and at instant speed. So you're setting up a pretty complicated chain of creatures that basically allows you to win on the spot. We'll get to it as it happens. For now, Kyle's #1 objective is to resolve Aluren at 4 mana, while Matthew is just grinding here. It seems like he's got Life from the Loam in the deck. Makes it a little bit more grindy, maybe playing a more of a mid-range version. 4 Questing Druid certainly lends itself to that. He's got Vapor Snack as a cute one-off that we usually can exchange for any kind of card that we like. That's cool. But no pressure. That's a bit... So, okay, so as I'm seeing the game, the big story of this game right now is no pressure for the Delver player, which is certainly not where you want to be against a deck that has more grind potential and also a combo that can eventually just take you out.
Really nice.
Kind of sitting fine, right? Just like, okay, I got a bunch of basic lands. Come at me.
Totally. This Aluren deck, it might sound like a combo deck, but it really is more like a mid-range deck that eventually combos out with Aluren. Similar to like National Order, for example. But yeah, like he has access to Ice-Fang Coatl, a card we have not seen in weeks. I think ever since Orcish Bowmaster came out, I think the numbers of Ice-Fang Coatls like significantly dropped. The same for Baleful Strix too.
He's also got the cute combo of, we got Teferi, Time Reveler, and Spell Queller. I think that also used to be more of a modern thing, but you can certainly do that in Legacy as well, where you Spell Queller away a spell that's like 4 mana or less. And then if you have Teferi, even if your opponent somehow later gets rid of Spell Queller, they cannot play the spell again because Teferi says, no, not here. So that's kind of cool.
Good point. Okay.
What else is happening there?
And yeah, for now, like Matthew doesn't know that Kyle is on an Aluren deck. Like
that's
far,
true. That's true.
Yeah,
what do you think you're up against?
It's like some Uro deck. It could even be like Jeskai at this point. Like there's only a plains and 2 fetch lands. 1 more fetch land. Like this could totally be like a Jeskai control deck.
Matthew might actually win this game. Like we might get to a point where Kyle actually cycles Uro, because that's also one of the ways you can like make your Aluren work somewhere down the line. And if Kyle loses the game, Matthew might be fully under the assumption that this is like a 4 or 5 color, what we call like Uro soup deck. Okay, this is angry Druid Assault. Here we go, dude. This is giving me flashbacks. Not quite growth. This is Dracourian Dryad as its best.
Yeah.
Another flashback, callback to 20 years ago in Legacy. One of the best decks around. It's coming back, and we are growing the Dryad. This time it's a Druid, and it's ready to take out Kyle actually rather quickly. Imagine if you chained a couple of cantrips, the game could be over in like 3 turns or something.
Yeah, totally. Like, I think that when this card came out, our first reaction was that like Quirion Dryad is more like a meme. Doesn't really do much to the game, but like those can outgrow your creatures relatively quickly, especially in combination with like cheap cantrips. Delver plays a lot of cheap cantrips. Okay, and we do see. Oh, this is a cool brainstorm here.
Dude, I don't know. I'm very much like a purist when it comes to brainstorm. I can respect the Ice Age art, but I absolutely love the Mercadian Mask art.
That's same dude. Yeah.
What is that, by the way? This is really hard to tell. There's a couple of like that. It's probably not Nyambi as Team Speaker. That's one card that you rarely see in Legacy.
But this might be a spell queller already.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, I think it actually. Yeah. We were spell quelling the brainstorm. Yeah, sure. We get some offense going. I mean, it's probably not good enough, but at least we got to make use of it for now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really love those two druids being in there.
Like,
I love that so much.
Imagine being Matthew, and the second spell you see from Kyle's deck is a spell queller after a Sword to Plowshares. What do you think? What do you?
Okay, so the thing is, at this point, I'm actually somewhat leaning Alurin, but I'm really kind of. I'm also thinking maybe somebody ported their collective company deck, but that probably wouldn't play.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, like the Spirit deck from Modern to Legacy.
It's actually not that easy to tell still. That's true. But Matthew is just like, you know what? I actually don't care. I'm just gonna like Vapor Snake your creature, gonna crack in there for at least 7 damage. And we might be headed for a game 2 without Matthew knowing that this is a combo deck. It's not the end of the world because the sideboarding is not gonna be too crazy different, I would think. Especially since Alurin is one of those combo decks that's also really hard to sideboard against because it has that grindy angle that, especially for like tempo decks, can sometimes be a problem because the Alurin decks go slightly over the top. So as long as Alurin is able to handle like big Murktides or Druids post-board, they can hang. And I guess Icefang totally works with that. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know. I kind of want to see Alurin pop off. Like I really want to see Alurin just like go in there, like on the last possible turn. Yeah. Kyle finally, like, he takes off the mask. He's like, "You think I'm a 4-color control deck? No, I'm much more." Slams down the Alurin, ramps up to Storm 500, and then, dude, I didn't even check the list. What do you actually kill with in this list here? I guess you can gain infinite life if that works. Dude, actually, seriously, how do you kill in this list?
Yeah,
there must be
like,
something.
You could definitely gain infinite life. Like, there used to be like a Strix that drains your opponent for 2 life, but you don't see that in this deck. Not Baleful Strix. What's the one? Anyway, it's not in this deck list. I'm actually like looking at the deck list and I'm trying to figure out how does this one. I guess you can just like establish total control, draw your entire deck, and then you're basically guaranteed to win from there. Because when you look at the deck list, there's actually no way to win the game with like an infinite combo unless I'm missing it. Yeah, like one thing you can do is like make so much life and draw so many cards that you will eventually just overpower your opponent with just like an army of heroes and recruit of guards and spell quellers maybe. Yeah, there's Bowmaster, but not in this list. Cavern Harpy doesn't do it. That's just like, it just enables the combo. Yeah, I guess the idea is you gain infinite life in the first game, and then in the second game there's still, I mean, you can have total control of the game by basically drawing your entire deck and gaining infinite life, and I guess the idea is that just works. Because I see a lot of people like mentioning potential kills in the chat, but none of them are present. It's cool. Okay, I want to see it. This might be more controlish than I initially assumed. Loving it. Oh, see, also, who knows? Grow once again. Yeah. Your opponents might also just concede maybe before you show them the win condition. That's also, I think, like LSV did it once. Now he revealed himself. He shows Nyambi, and that's definitely the giveaway that you are Alurin.
There's like nobody who plays like a random Yambi. Okay, as I say that, the deck Esper Wild comes to mind, but Esper Wild is not playing a basic forest, so this is not Esper Wild. Okay, what can we actually see? We see a Recruiter of the Guard in Kyle's hand. That certainly doesn't get Alluren. We're also only playing 3 copies of Alluren, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But Matthew doesn't get loot. I love that whole approach, that he's like, that whole vibe of, okay, whatever you're doing, I'm not quite sure, but I get these big druids and they're taking you out. What's your sense on on keeping your pen in your head?
Oh, I don't even know how to do that.
Really?
I tried it. Cool. I tried it a couple of times, and it always fell down on the table, and I looked kind of stupid.
You need a bigger head, guy, or rather a smaller head, I guess. That also works.
All right, how about Recruiter of the Guard? And it got another Recruiter of the Guard. Now this is like really old school. Reminds me of the old like Imperial Recruiter chain in like the super old Alluren deck.
You know, against control decks, sometimes you really only went for like recruiter for recruiter for recruiter.
Yeah.
And here it's kind of like a fork, right? You get it down, it finds another fork, it finds another fork as you draw cards for the turn and hopefully can like use your mana for something else. But Delver makes it even more tricky, and Matthew's like, oh, by the way, that land also gone. Basically throwing everything at Kylie and see whether Kyle can put something together here. He's got a Ponder, he's got a Recruiter, he's got a Teferi, he's got an Uro. He can play. Like, for example, you could bounce the... it's not great. I was going to say you can bounce the Druid. But then, of course, that can once again turn into Seek the Beast. Actually, it can't because you have Teferi. Actually, so, yeah. In that case, it's not that bad a play, right?
Like, one of the best cards probably he could pull is like something like an Icewing Quartel into Soulstone Plowshares.
But he's lacking the blue mana now. I think that's... has been a problem for maybe at least the last 2 turns or something, because now he goes Ponder and doesn't have the ability to cast a blue spell.
Okay. All right. Delver Secrets. Didn't flip. Didn't flip. All right. I think we got one more turn here.
Yep. Jump blocking.
Interesting.
The thing is, like, if we find Alluren, do we actually have the win there? Oh, I think he actually missed the flip. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I think oh, that's the win. That must be the win, unless there's any... Oh my god, Alluren, here we go. Recruiter for probably the last Recruiter. Then you probably at some point want to find Cavern Harpy, bounce. Oh, dude, Matthew's like, oh my god, I knew something was up. I knew something was up. This felt too good to be true. He's pointed at Nyambi. He's like, I knew you were up to something bad or good in Kyle's case. Okay, like, you see how quick Kyle goes through all emotions here. He's been there so many times. Okay, so he's got the Cavern Harpy. The Cavern Harpy can bounce your Aura with a trigger on a stack, so it goes back. You gain a life, you draw the card. Then you can pay 1 life, put the Cavern Harpy back into your hand, get the Aura down, get the Harpy down, do all of that. You're gaining infinite life. And actually, as I say this, you're actually not gaining infinite life because you have to draw cards every single time, right? Unless Urus are May, and I'm pretty sure Urus is not a May. But I mean, that's
the least probably alright
when you draw your entire deck.
Yeah, let's say you gain like 30 life, for example.
Yeah, you just draw your entire deck, and then you okay. I want to see what the win condition is actually like, because looking through the entire deck, there is no immediate win condition. Kyle will have to pass the turn. It doesn't really matter because he's got a ton of life. There's probably another card in the deck that allows him to gain infinite life. I think Nyambi might actually do that. Because, yeah, I think Nyambi does that. So, with Matthew unable to deal infinite damage, the only way he can win is stacking. And I'm pretty sure that Kyle is going to be aware of that and not put himself in a position where that might actually happen. You're basically putting all of your creatures into play, have all your Force of Words, play Teferi, and then pass the turn. And you tell Matthew, you get to do whatever you like. I don't think you can kill me.
Cool. Yeah. What a comeback.
It's kind of crazy, right? When you think about it, like nothing was really happening for most of the time.
Yeah.
And then Kylie's just like, you know what? All of a sudden, he shifts into overdrive, 5th gear, and he's got, dude, look at this infant, like this lightning fast speed here. Compared to like the glacial nature of the first like 6 or 7 turns, this is, I don't know. You might be doing the castle run into under how many parsecs? I don't even know. I'm not that deep into Star Wars, even though I love it. Didn't you recently actually watch Star Wars for the very first time, by the way?
I did, yeah.
Ooh,
I did.
And I asked you which one was your favorite, and you said like episode 3 or something. Oh, dude, you're dead to me.
What?
You said something that... Oh, no. Okay, you said R2-D2 was your favorite character. Okay, I can respect that. Yeah, Matthew is just like trying to figure out, how do you kill me? How do you kill me? And then Kyle is like, that's the beauty, I don't. I still get to suffer for another turn.
What if you play a combo deck and you're just like, I don't know, there's no win condition.
Yeah, there's no win condition.
It's a
Kyle can also put all of his lands into play because of Uro.
Yeah.
You literally can like have all your deck in hand, all your lands in play, all your creatures in play, and then like you keep like a couple of cards on the top of your deck so you don't deck or something. Oh, the beauty.
Okay. I just hope that we're missing something here and there's
no, we're not missing something. There's literally no win condition. No extra dedicated win condition, I want to say.
Okay.
Kyle can still put himself in a position where he basically can't lose.
Matthew has seen enough, I think. Beautiful.
Okay, Kai, here's your ultimate legacy test. I do this a lot with legacy veterans. What is the creature type on Cavern Harpy?
Oh, I would guess it's a harpy or wizard or fairy.
It's a beast.
It's a beast? How is that a beast?
Well, it's a harpy as well, but it's a beast.
Oh,
first of all. Yeah. So it's one of those things where you can actually like stop the combo quite well if you find a pithing needle to put on beast. And I wonder if that's something that Matthew's gonna try. As a look at the sideboard, there's no pithing needle. There's pyroblasts, which allow you to fight somewhat, at least over the Allurin, I would guess. Force of Negation could help. Blood Moon, not so much. Counterbalance, good luck with that. Actually, you know what? Could stop the Cavern Harpy at least, but it's hard to control the top without top.
Yeah.
Surgical could be a trap. Yeah, not that great of a sideboard against the Lurin here, I would guess.
I was gonna say that, yeah. On the other side, Kyle has 3 copies of Supreme Verdict in the sideboard. Not 1, not 2. 3 copies.
Okay, what do you think? Which sideboard? Which matchup would that be for?
I mean, it has to be Delver, right? Like Delver, goblins, merfolk,
4 mana,
elves.
But goblins would be horrible, right? You wouldn't bring this in against goblins, I would think.
Oh, you're probably dead by then, yeah.
Yeah. Also, like they completely reload. I mean, I see the idea, like the short-term solution to your problem. We will see. Maybe it came in. Like with so many basic lands, I can see it being a thing. Other than that. Honestly, I don't hate Kyle's position in the matchup in the first place. Especially with all those basic lands. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really decent. Like, a lot of the cards in this Allurin deck cause headaches, right? For the Delver player. Like, Icefang Quaddle is kind of obnoxious. Like, Spell Queller is also, like, it's not a big threat, but it's also kind of annoying sometimes. And it's a 2/3 flyer. Uro, we don't have to talk about Uro. Probably, but there's also like Swords to Plowshares again, and the Teferi Time Raveler, like Supreme Verdict.
Okay, I think the Supreme Verdict now makes a little bit more sense to me because when I look at this deck, as this is just like what we used to play in Legacy, as in like 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 color Uro Soup. Like no Beanstalk, no Ring, literally just 4 color Uro Soup. If you think about it like this, and then you have 3 Allurins as your win condition, and then it also makes sense that you're only playing like 3 copies. Maybe Kyle even sometimes thinks about only playing like 2 copies. And then you have a bunch of creatures that still like generate value by themselves. Then all of a sudden, like the Supreme Verdict is in there to really just like recover, as you mentioned, against Delver decks. So yeah, I'm coming around to that whole idea of deck building where this is literally Allurin as your win condition and not like as a dedicated combo deck. So I guess that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah. Like another thing like Kai could do is to side out the 3 Allurin and swap them with Supreme Verdicts, for example, and completely turn the deck into like a band control deck.
Oh my god, you're a genius. I think that's actually what's sometimes happening with the deck.
Like, yeah. Supreme Verdict cannot be dazed, cannot be countered. Allurin is kind of dazeable if you want. Like a 4-mana enchantment is somewhat clunky. There are no Carpet of Flowers in Kyle's deck, so there's no extra mana boost in that. And honestly, I don't even know if you want to do the combo thing against the Delver. Like sometimes an Uro, Supreme Verdict, those cards are already enough.
And then you just like try to leverage the extra value that you get off like your, let's say, Icefang Coders, Spell Quellas. There's probably a good way to use Nyambi as well in a fair game. I wonder whether that's actually what's happening.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny when you look at the deck list, by the way. There's 3 copies of Dress Down, and then a bunch of creatures that have like really great abilities.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Like, what's up with those Dress Downs? They're interesting.
I mean, they enable Uro, like the dreaded turn 3 Uro that stays in play.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay, so what do we see on the other side here? We see an attempt at a couple of Dragon Rage channelers, some cantripping, another Brainstorm, as both players are like posturing and setting up for what's about to be the mid game. Kylie very consciously fetches for a basic land here. Definitely doesn't want to lose anything to Wasteland. There's even a world where Matthew might even take out like some copies of Wasteland. This is like a dedicated 3-color deck that fetches tons of basic lands. Like we look at the deck list, there's 6 basic lands. Matthew doesn't know that, but he can probably sense it.
Good read. Good read. Yeah, definitely like that. All right, we do see a counterbalance. Good synergy with the Dragon's Rage Channeler as we get a Surveil trigger here. Just making sure that there's a decent card on top. The problem though is like what do you keep on top versus Allurin? Like Allurin has a lot of 1-drops, but also 2-drops, 3 and 4-drops.
Yeah, so
I don't even know.
In this early phase of the game, I think I like keeping a 1 on top if I can. It stops the Plowshares, so I can keep my offense going. There's also a chance that Kyle Stiff has some kind of, well, okay, that doesn't matter. I was going to say some kind of cantrip still in hand because it's so early in the game. But he's just going to take it out of Wasichu, and that's the one thing you can't keep anything for on top. You still get, okay, well, I was going to say you still get a land. No, we just found our basic Venice Island, in which case this is straight up just a 1-for-1 trade. Oh, you can still get to shuffle. Maybe you even must shuffle. So, yeah, Matthew's going to go through the deck, probably find nothing.
Check in. There is Tropical
Island.
Never mind.
We're not even searching for a basic land. Yeah, we are searching for like a basic type and put it into play. Okay, we still get the extra land. Price is averted. We still trade 2-for-1. Awesome. So, Kyle untapping here, making another basic land drop, getting to ferry out, probably bouncing a Dragon Rage Channeler.
Oh yeah, like no respect for days here. Okay, Brainstorm. That triggers the Dragon's Rage Channeler again. And let's see if we can find that. Like, Days would be best in answering to Fairy Time Raveler. But even like a Red Blast is not terrible.
I mean, you do dream of doing things like dazing your opponent's 3-drop, right? That's just it's one of the greatest plays when you play tempo decks. It's okay when you daze like 1 or 2 drops, but when you daze the 3-drop and you have a creature in play, you feel like, yes, this is pot racing.
Feel like this is like
there it is. There it is.
I mean, this is like such a big difference between the Fairy Time Raveler in Legacy. This is let's say like in Modern, for example. Like there is no daze in Modern, and it's just so much easier to resolve at Fairy Time Raveler in Modern and in Legacy. Like in Legacy, there's so many counters, like hyper efficient for 0 mana. There's Pyroblast, Spell Pierced, all those things.
By the way, there's a Blood Moon in Matthew's hand. And I was like thinking about why is there a Blood Moon, especially since Wasteland is not that great. So I get the idea, right? Wasteland is not that great because you can't really stop your opponent from getting like 2 green mana, but Blood Moon can. If you get like an early Blood Moon, chances are your opponent hasn't fetched for 2 green sources yet, and then the Blood Moon is gonna cut you off from 2 green for almost forever until you happen to find that second forest. So in a way, it hurts yourself quite a bit. But it also makes it so that Kyle is probably not going to get to 2 green mana, which he needs for Allurin. Whether that's good or not, I'm not too sure, but I think that's, like, from a strategic, tactical level, that's the reasoning. And it also helps when you just, like, make a giant dragon.
All this while keeping Delirium? Okay, now definitely you have your four types, I think.
Yeah, you especially since you have like an enchantment in the graveyard. That one's usually not there. You got the artifact, your creature, I think you got 5 types by now.
Very nice. Yeah, like, so what are you looking for if you're in Matthew's position here?
In Matthew's position, probably just like if I have a force, then I'm looking for a pyroblast. If I have a pyroblast, I'm looking for a force, and if I got nothing, then I'm probably also looking for a force.
All right, yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Like, the pressure is there. The pressure is definitely there.
Mm-hmm. And that must be a learn, right? There are not too many reasons to fetch right
Ooh,
away.
this could be such a good spot for Supreme Verdict, though. Oh my
that's
goodness!
true.
If this
Oh,
was
this is Supreme.
oh gosh, it's coming! It's coming! Oh no!
Oh, dude, and
Oh
might have
my
actually
goodness!
called it. This might have been a transitional sideboard.
Oh
This
my
might have
goodness!
literally been a control deck now, and Matthew is trying to fight a ghost that's not even there.
Yeah, and imagine like if he just found that forcible like the turn earlier. Oh my goodness!
Oh, Kyle might have like completely misled him there, and now Teferi comes down, makes life even harder because you hate it as a Delver deck, right? If you untap while your opponent already has Teferi, you know it's gonna be so much harder for you to like just like stick a threat and get there. But
Yeah.
Kyle is even happy to just like cycle his Uro, probably make another land drop, and advance the game from there.
Yeah, this is
Not
like
even putting a land into play.
beautifully
Ooh.
played by Kyle here. Matthew still, but might not really know what he's playing against here, because like it is so unintuitive to have a Supreme Verdict in a Lurin deck, which is like creature heavy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. And Matthew might still be thinking about, hey, do I still have to fear the Alurin? Like at this point, look at this guy. Like, we analyzed why Blood Moon is good. We analyzed why Supreme Verdict is good. And yet, when you just like walked into this and you saw this, there's a guy with 4 basic lands, and then there's a guy with like triple dual lands and a Blood Moon in hand. You're like, what did I just walk into? But it all makes sense. It all makes sense in the context of the individual plays and strategies. But it's certainly like a great cool side that you don't really get to see all that often. By the way, I was gonna say like that graveyard is getting dangerously close to just like being all over the place now. Okay, Kyle is like, okay, this creature I can deal with it. I have 15 life. He might just literally Teferi bounce it. Oh, nice.
Oh, how about a Skyclave apparition?
Oh. Tiny little innocent creature. There's a chance that Matthew takes it out, but it doesn't really feel great, does it?
Yeah, it's
Especially
definitely
with
like
Kyle still at 15. Like you get a 1/1 token. Hey,
it's a tough spot. Like the Uru's already in the graveyard. I don't know if Matthew brought in some graveyard removal, because graveyard removal again doesn't line up with the Allurin deck. That's gonna
Okay,
be
Kai,
be
tell
a
me,
top one.
which creature type is that gonna be? For the token?
Oh, that's gotta be like a spirit token.
Is it spirit? I thought it was illusion.
Oh god damn it!
You might be right. You might be right, because I always got confused because I thought all spirits fly, and this token doesn't fly as far as I remember.
It's 50-50. Like now that you mention it, it could also be a spirit or illusion.
Yeah, I think it's an illusion, and there is no illusion in the ANSI deck box. So if you like what you're seeing, definitely check out ANSI, subscribe to his Patreon, and submit a Patreon an illusion token to Here we go. Oh, there's one. Okay, never mind. Never didn't have it. There's the illusion token. Only 15 more turns to go. And Matthew, oh, he even had it for stuff we talked about earlier. I don't know if he just found it. Yeah, this is the screenshot. This is screenshot material. Like I said, we analyzed why all of this makes sense in the context of this game, but it certainly looks great. So okay, so what is Matthew locking himself into now? He still has access to blue. He has access to red. So he can still play his normal game. He loses the ability to use Questing Druid as a creature. I think that's the only thing he's losing.
Wow. Yeah, and while he had the forcible for Teferi, Card protected it with a Veil of Summer. Really cool.
Loving it.
And didn't even bounce the Blood Moon. Like, that's a sign, right? Like, instead of bouncing the Blood Moon, he bounced the token.
And here we go. Second Blood Moon deployed. Which planet has 2 moons? Somebody, help us out. There must be, dude, now it's a real screenshot material, right? Awesome, loving this. It's gonna be so tough for Matthew though from this point.
Yeah.
It's not even about like locking yourself out of green, right? It's more like that you wish you had something that like puts pressure or some kind of presence on the board. While if Matthew feels chill, he's literally going for recruiter. I can see a world where he does that. It might not be advisable, but it's certainly what I would do.
Yeah, Matthew's completely out of gas here. I guess he played the Blood Moon to prevent Uro maybe from coming back. You know, if Kyle's second green source is like, let's say, like a fetch land.
That's true. That's true. That's actually a really good observation.
Right. On the other hand, though, Matthew is also cutting himself from the second blue mana, which means that any top deck Murktide Regent cannot be cast.
Well, there's still a way to do it. You know about it, right? You're a Denver
Oh no,
player.
dude, please stop. We're not dazing out our own spells to get blue.
I'm pretty sure you've done it plenty of times, but yeah, it's certainly like a very last resort way to try to get double blue.
Yeah.
We will see it. But honestly, like maybe Kyle even anticipated some kind of play that would try to take the game that way by getting the Solitude right away, because that makes it so that even if you somehow deploy the Murktide, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna stick. Okay, we got the Brainstorm going here. Is this Kyle's hand, by the way? That's pretty disgusting.
I think so. Like, yeah, he has to put 2 cards back, but like Matthew's there chilling, you know. He did everything he could, and now it's up to Kyle. Basically.
I'm so happy that I actually spotted that thing, the total conversion into the control deck with the Supreme Verdicts, because this is exactly how this game has played out now. This is a return to Uro Soup from like a year or something ago, and it's working out very well for Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle is not even trying to combo off here.
And now it makes even more sense that he never had like a dedicated win condition in the first place. So he can like literally transition out that much easier. What does he force? Oh, he's forcing Seek the Beast, knowing that the Druid is probably never going to come into play anyway. So this is like a much easier trade here.
Nice.
At this point, if I'm Matthew, like I'm starting to consider like how many burn spells do I still have left in my library? You know that old thing about like when Canadian Threshold, like the OG Canadian Threshold got Blood Moons. They were like, okay, I got literally 20 points of burn in my damage, 4 light in my deck, 4 Lightning Bolt, 4 Fire Ice. Let's still play the game and see where it goes.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
But now this is a slow bleed, right? Just like deploying one thing after the other while Matthew has to sit there and watch. Take 1 damage.
Like you can do so many things now. Like you could also like Teferi bounce your own Recruit of the Guard, get more advantage that way if you really want to. And that just like kind of showcases like win conditions are absolutely overrated, right? At this point, like it doesn't really matter what you take to win a game of Magic. Sometimes it's just as easy as a Recruit of the Guard.
For everybody listening, I want to repeat. Kai just said, win conditions are overrated. I've watched this guy craft a Doomsday pile that can't win and still win the game.
Oh yeah, we did that once. That was
once. Yeah.
That was so cool. That was so cool.
That's a different story though, guys. Right? If you want to hear that, check out the Everyday Turtle podcast where we talk about all that kind of things, and certainly also about the transformational sideboard of Alluren into 4-color, or in this case rather 3-color Uro Soup.
Yeah, look at that. Just Kyle just going through the motions here. You got a Solitude, you got a Quaddle. Teferi's going up to 7 loyalty. I've rarely seen Teferi on 7 loyalty. And he's not even trying to bounce those Blood Moons. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that will do it. That will do it for this round. Oh my goodness, Kyle, what a cool deck. If this is the future of Alluren, I might be down for this. This just looks a lot of fun to play.
You know, people used to ask, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? I'm going to ask you, how often do you think about the future of Alluren? That was a great game. That was a great game on so many different levels. We'll be soon back. My name is Julian Knapp. This is Kaiser Vatari. This was the 4th round of 9 today, 11 total of Eternal Weekend North America Legacy Championships. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned for more amazing decks.
See you in a bit.